Our next storyteller, ladies and gentlemen, is a really good friend I've known for many years and loved her work as a musician, as a sculptor, as a visual artist. Good friend. Many of you know that Soozi Schlanger grew up not too far from here, as you're about to hear in her story. So please welcome Soozi Schlanger.
Drowning is fun, so you get used to it. How do the fishes do it? They stay alive the whole time. Ketram hiss of siage. Ketram hiss of siage arches above my head. Ketram hiss of siage. The painted letters identify my designated spot on the inside of the front window of my parents' fish store. I know that the letters are backwards and inside out, and in my mind, I flip them to try and make them face me. I want them to say Joe's Fish Market on the inside, like they do for the people on the outside. But no matter how much I flip them, the words still run backwards. And Ketram hiss of siage is the best I can do and is as good as it gets. I spend all of my time at Ketram hiss of siage, very still, looking out the front window. I watch people walking by on Bloor Street going this way, and I watch the people walking by on Bloor Street going that way, and I watch the people walking into the store, and I watch the people coming out of the store. I watch the many boxes and jars and cans that sit on the shelves that line the walls of the inside of the store. And I mostly love to watch the yellow mustard. If I stare at the mustard long enough, I can make the jars of yellow mustard rise off the shelf. And that way, I can move bits of yellow everywhere, anywhere yellow is needed. On the floor, on the ceiling, on the blocks of chalava, on the bushels of peanuts and walnuts, maybe on the cheese slicer, or on Mummy's fish apron, or sometimes on the back of Daddy's head, wherever yellow is needed. They say I am a good child. I'm good, not for anything I do. I'm good for everything I don't do. I don't cry. I don't make a fuss. I don't scream and I don't get in the way. I don't bother my parents. I don't ask for anything. I don't ask for anything because I don't need anything. I don't need anything because I live in Canada, and that means I already have everything. Not like my cousins. They live behind an iron curtain. She looks out at me from the photograph. She sits with a straight back in front of the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. It's called piano. She's wearing one of the same dresses my sisters and I wear. My mother, after a long day at work in the fish store, stays up late at night sewing us our dresses. She sews an extra one for Lubichka. And she sends it in one of the many parcels that go out to Russia every year. Parcels full of stuff that they can't easily get over there, like boots and shoes and suits and coats and cardigan sweaters and nylons and lipstick and umbrellas. Sometimes when I am at Ketram hiss of siage, I make up a speech that I'm going to say to Khrushchev when I see him. Khrushchev, if you don't know, is the only person who has a key that can open up an iron curtain. I explained to him that he should let the people out from behind the iron curtain, that they should be free like we are in Canada. And that way, Lubichka can come and live with me. And if she comes, she better bring that piano. Sometimes I look at the picture of Lubichka sitting there, her fingers stretched out, touching the fingers of the piano. And she looks back at me wearing the same dress I wear. And I get the feeling of the color green inside my stomach, which I don't like because it's my third most unfavorite color, next to brown and black. While Lubitschka sits behind an iron curtain practicing piano, I sit behind Ketram Hiss of Siaj, and I practice disappearing. I disappear myself over and over again. I disappear myself the way you do around a bee, so that it doesn't sting you. Hiss surf evil, hiss surf evil. Hiss surf evil, hiss surf evil arches above the great big fish tank that occupies the other window in the front of the store. This is a great big fish tank full of black carp. Big black carp. For the people walking by on Bloor Street, hiss surf evil says, fresh live, fresh live. And that makes them want to come in and tell Daddy to kill a fish. I don't understand how come, if they come in because it's live, they always leave with a dead one. Sometimes I need to leave my corner at Ketram Hiss of Siaj, and I need to check on my fish at hiss surf evil, hiss surf evil. I hope Daddy doesn't catch me. He might yell, "Don't butter the fish!" I climb up onto one of the wooden Coca-Cola boxes, and I press my body against the cold stainless steel tank. Now I'm tall enough to see over the rim. The tank is just high enough to reach my chin, and I can lean my cheek along the icy rim, and I lean my cheek along the icy rim, and I pat my fish. I stroke their cold, black, slimy bodies in the cold, black, slimy water. Somehow I know them. Their sad, unblinking eyes, their blank stares, and their silence, and their forbearance. And I wonder how many of them are in there, layer upon layer upon layer. And I wonder which ones are the dead ones. But Daddy always knows. He dips the net, fresh, live, fresh, live. He dips the net and stirs up the water, fresh, live, fresh, live. He stirs up the water to agitate the fish, fresh, live. He agitates the fish to see if there's one that isn't moving. Fresh, live, fresh, live. And he scoops out the fish that isn't moving. Fresh, live, fresh, live. And he starts shaking the net with the one that isn't moving, and it's jumping up and back and up and back, higher than any live fish could ever jump. Fresh and live, and fresh and live. And the more he hears them cry, fresh, live, fresh, live, the harder he shakes the net, fresh, live. And the higher that dead fish jumps, fresh, live. And the greater the struggle to get that fish to the chopping block, fresh, live, where he throws it down on the chopping block and grabs it by the tail and makes it flop, flip, flop, like it's gasping for just a little bit more life. My sister says my fish live in a concentration camp and that our Daddy is a murderer. He bashes it over the head. I don't cry. I don't say a word. I watch it all. I disappear myself. All the while, the words play over in my mind like a mantra. Ketram Hiss of Siaj, Ketram Hiss of Siaj, Ketram Hiss of Siaj. I am their witness. I am their invisible witness. And I can hear them in the cold black water. I hear them whispering, and they're whispering, hiss surf evil, hiss surf evil. There is a nightmare. The nightmare is in my kindergarten. The nightmare is called show and tell. All the kids are required to participate in Or they tell about places they went with their parents, like exhibition or cottage. But I have nothing to show. And the only thing I know, and the only place I've ever been, is the fish store. My name is Soozi Schlanger. And today, it's for show and tell. I'm going to tell you how to clean a dead fish. These are the tools you need to clean a dead fish. A hatchet knife, a pointy swordfish knife, a sharpening stone, aprons, scissors, the scraper tool, and the bowling pin. First, you take the hatchet knife and you place it just below the head, where the neck would be, if fish had necks. Then you grab the bowling pin, the same pin that Daddy uses to bash the fish over the head with in the first place. You hold it over the hatchet knife and whack, 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 there goes the head. You do the same at the tail. Whack, there goes the tail. Then you have to cut off the fins. You grab the scissors and cut off the fins. Snip, snip, snap. Great! Now it doesn't even look like a fish anymore. So it's a perfect time to slice open the belly. You take your pointy swordfish knife and you sharpen it on the sharpening stone. You stick it in where the head used to be and you pull it to where the tail used to be. There, now you've opened up the stomach. You stick your bare hands in and you scoop out the guts with your bare hand. When Daddy scoops out the guts, he makes little grunty noises to help him along. The same kind that he makes when he has to turn the steering wheel in the delivery truck around a difficult corner. Sometimes it sounds like the sounds I hear behind their closed door in the bedroom late at night. Now it's time to clean what used to be a fish. You take the scraper tool, you place it on what used to be a fish, and you pull. Now the scales fly up. They fly up onto Daddy's hand. They fly up onto Daddy's apron. They fly up onto Daddy's glasses, and they stick to the glass in his glasses, and they fly up and they stick in his hair. And they fly up to the tiles that surround the chopping block and stick to the blood that's stuck to the tiles around the chopping block, like thousands of polka dots. At the end of the day, I have a job. My daddy lifts me up and stands me on top of the chopping block. He takes an apron and folds it many times and wraps it around me, and he gives me a bucket of water with sponges and a sharp, pointy knife. My job is to bring back the white. I wash the blood from the tiles. I disappear the red. I bring back the white. I disappear the red. I bring back the white. I disappear the red. I bring back the white. Dead fish squirt lots of blood. Just like the thick red juicy paint Miss Featherstone mixes up for us in kindergarten. And we wear our father's shirts backwards like painting smocks. And if you wipe your red painty hands all over your white painting smock, you can make it look like my daddy's bloody apron. And that's how you clean a dead fish. Thank you. It's a stinky, hot fish store summer day on the inside of Ketchum-Hissaf-Siage. I'm looking out the window, and I notice the kids that are usually walking that way to Palmerston School are walking that way to Christie Pitts. And they've got little bundles tucked under their arms, made out of towels. Delicious looking little bundles. I want one. I go up to our apartment and I grab a towel and I roll it this way, but it's not a bundle. So I roll it the other way. That's not a bundle, the sides just flop over. Then I fold it and I roll it. There, a bundle, a delicious little bundle. I run down to Ketchum-Hissaf-Siage and I tuck it under my arm and I practice being like the kids on the other side of the window, marching with my delicious little bundle, but I can only walk back and forth and walk back and forth and back and forth like in a fishbowl. One day, my sisters come downstairs and they are wearing their sundresses and they have bathing suits on under their sundresses. And they have little bundles tucked under their arms made out of towels. And they announce, "We are going swimming to Christie Pitts big pool for big kids." Oh. Now I get it. All those kids on the outside, they were going swimming. Now even my sisters are going swimming. So everybody is going swimming. I felt just like that girl they call Cinderella. Do you know who she is? She never got to have any fun either. I just found out about her from a girl in Show and Tell. She brought in a fairy tale. That's where Cinderella lives. Fairy tales come in storybooks. Mothers who know how to read English, they read storybooks to their kids at night for bedtime stories. My mother sings us songs at night for bedtime stories. Songs in Yiddish. Songs about war. In a Litvish der Pulvai, in a Heisel ohne Sei, durch a Fenster nicht kein Kreuz, dort gucken kinderliche Reus, Ingelech mit Flachsenkepp, Mädelech mit blonde Zepp, und zusammen dort mit See, gucken Augen schwarze Zwei. Augen schwarz und füllt mit Tränen, und ein Näsele klein. Lippelech zu kuscheln nur, starke schwarz gelockte Haar. Die Mama hat ihm zugebracht, eingewickelt, spät bei Nacht, der Kind geschrien, nein, nein, Mama, lass mich nicht allein. And her mother leaves her only son with non-Jewish people to protect him from being killed by Nazis. The kid's dark eyes and black hair are such a contrast to the little blonde children that are around him. He looks out of the little window as his mother disappears into the night. Mama, don't leave me. He never sees his mother again. She kisses me on the forehead. Good night, Sorla. Pleasant dreams. She calls me Sorla. Sorla is my real name. It's the name she named me when I was born. It's my name in Yiddish. But the doctors wouldn't put Sorla on my birth documents. They said, we don't have names like that in Canada. Suddenly I hear a noise, a sound I've never heard before, coming from far, far away and deep inside of me. And out my mouth, I want to go too. We can't take you, you're too little. And if we have to be still just like when I'm at Ketchum Hissipsiot. I'll disappear myself. I'll be good. I want to go too. My mother runs over in her fish apron. Everybody tries to stop the sound, including me, but the sound just keeps on coming. I want a bundle. I want a little bundle. I want to carry a bundle. I want to carry a little bundle. I want to carry a bundle. I want a little bundle. I want to carry a bundle. I want a little bundle. I want a little bundle. She snaps. Take her, she says. Even the sister that never gets mad at me is mad at me. The sister I'm always afraid of clamps her hand on the back of my neck and pushes me along in front of her and hisses nasty things in my ear the way she does when she takes me to kindergarten in the morning. But I don't care. I just disappear her. Because I have a little bundle. And I'm marching with the other kids. On the other side of Ketchum Hissipsiot, past where it says Joe's Fish Market. And my towel is pink. And I'm going swimming. And I have no idea what swimming is. The only time I've ever been to Christy Pitts is a couple of times. When Udasha takes me. But then she only takes me to the little wading pool. Udasha is a bag lady. She hasn't got anywhere to live. But sometimes she comes and stays with us. But we never know when she's going to arrive, and we never know when she's going to disappear again. My daddy says Udasha's a little coconuts in her head. Udasha's skin is the color of fresh rye bread without the caraway seeds. She has a big smiley clowny face. Just like the two clowny faces she always brings with her on the brown paper shopping bags that say, "It's fun to shop at Honest Ed's. It's fun to shop at Honest Ed's." And the first thing the three clowny faces do, three clowny faces do is go upstairs, and Udasha sits herself down on the kitchen chair and parks one clown on each side of her, and she lifts up her skirts. Great. Under her skirt, she wears thick Band-Aid colored old lady stockings with wide elastics that hold up the stockings. And in those elastics, she hides the most important things to her, things that she doesn't want to lose. And now that she's safe inside, she can take them all out. And she takes out a package of buttons, all sizes, wrapped up with a cloth, tied up with an elastic, wrapped up with a cloth, and tied up with an elastic. And she takes out safety pins, all safety pinned together, all sizes, wrapped up with a cloth, tied up with an elastic, wrapped up with a cloth, and tied up with an elastic. And she pulls out streetcar tickets, wrapped up in a cloth, wrapped up in an elastic, wrapped up in a cloth, wrapped up in an elastic. And she takes elastics, all elastic-ed together, wrapped up in a cloth, wrapped up in an elastic, wrapped up in a cloth, and wrapped up in an elastic. And she takes out a little wooden stick with a hook called crochet needle. From her other stocking, she pulls out string that she's collected from the street or from the park or from Daddy's stinky fish garbage, and she ties it all together to make enough string to start crocheting. And she settles down to crocheting little circles and telling stories. Udasha tells 2 stories. They're not really stories. But when she's not around, I turn them into stories in my mind. They're very short, so I'll tell them to you here. Number 1. Udasha and the little fishes. Udasha loves to stand in a shallow lake in a place called Dwarf. The sun beats down. The sun beats down and heats the water, and it heats the sand under her feet. and it's so nice and warm that her toes curl up. And Udasha really knows how to disappear herself because she stands so still. You won't believe this. She stands so still that the little fishes swim around her feet, the little fishes. I can't even believe there are fishes smaller than great big carp. I love when she tells me a story about little fishes. Story number 2. Ida Baker. Udasha has an English name. It's called Ida. And she has a last name called Baker because Udasha was married. I can't even believe she was a lady. She was married to a man, and his name was Mr. Baker. That's the story. But in my mind, I think Mr. Baker has a baker's hat and a baker's apron, and he has flour on his face, and he married the right person because Udasha is soft and squishy, just like dough. And I love when Udasha talks about the little fishes and Mr. Baker because it makes me feel like there are others other than me that loved Udasha. My sister doesn't love Udasha. My sister hates Udasha. She hisses nasty things at her too, and she kicks her in her big bum. But Udasha doesn't get mad. She just looks down and smiles and says, "Don't aggravate your mother." Now, aggravate. That's a big word in English, isn't it? That goes to show you Udasha is smart because she used a big word. But my sister says she's stupid. And she tells her that she smells worse than the fish. When Udasha takes me to Christy Pitt's baby wading pool, there's nothing to do but sit in the water and pee. And watch Udasha's toes curl up in the warm pea water. And imagine that there are little fishes swimming around her feet. But not now. Because now I am on my way to the big kids pool. We are climbing the stairs to the big kids pool. And I've got my little bundle tucked under my arm because I'm going with the big kids to the big kids pool at Christy Pitt's. We enter into a large indoor space. It's the first time I'm in such a large indoor space, and the walls are made out of cement. It looks like the sidewalks are up the walls. And it smells of bleach. Javax bleach. I know the smell because Daddy puts it in the water for me to wash the fish blood with, and Udasha uses bleach to clean her fingernails and her toenails with. There are kids laughing and screaming and yelling. There are banging sounds, echoing, opening, closing, clanging sounds. There are little boxes made out of metal where we're supposed to put our clothes in. There are keys sticking out of the boxes with orange ends off of them. The orange is my favorite color. It's my #1 favorite, best color. It's the color that tastes just like its name, orange. I stare at the orange, and I stare at the orange. I get lost in the color, but I am startled by a loudspeaker announcement. All children going swimming must proceed through the showers. All children going swimming must proceed through the showers. Why do we need to go to the showers? If we're going swimming, why do we need to get wet if we're already going to get wet? This has got to be a trick. I know this trick. This is what the Nazis did to people. They pushed them in the showers to kill them there, just like they did Daddy's family, just like they did his little brothers and sisters, and some of them were young, just like me, but I can't get away. They are herding me into the showers with all the little kids, and I close my eyes and I start to recite the prayer that my sister taught me after Hebrew school, that you're supposed to say before you go to sleep at night, in case you die in your sleep, and that way your soul can still go to heaven. Il Melech Ne'eman, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchut Olam Ved, V'havteinu Alecha B'chol Levcha. When I look down, all children going swimming must exit through the turnstile. All children going swimming must exit through the turnstile. Now we are being pushed through this metal apparatus that hits against my body several times and looks a lot like part of Mummy's meat grinder that I like to play with. But when I look down, I haven't turned into meat squiggles at all. Instead, the most opposite thing to Nazis and meat grinders happens. It's the color turquoise. The swimming pool is glistening in the sunlight, and it's glistening with the color turquoise. I have never seen the color turquoise. Our crayons only come in 8 colors: black, brown, blue, peacock blue, and green. Those are the boy colors. Red, yellow, and orange. Those are the girl colors. But never turquoise. And I can hear the sound of turquoise. I can hear the sound of turquoise, and the sound of turquoise sounds like clarinets and toy pianos. My sisters pick me up and put me on a towel beside the chain link fence. Don't move. We're going in the water. I sit beside the chain link fence. I stare at the diamond shapes of the chain link fence. I stare at them long enough to make them rise off the fence with my eyes. And I place the diamonds in the blue sky. And I place them onto the clouds. And I move them around. And then I bring them back to rest in the chain link fence. And I watch the pretty bathing suit ladies lying on their beach towels. Their hands propping up their heads, and their arms stretched along their wavy hips. And they're giggling to their boyfriends. I watch some of the boyfriends not paying attention, looking away and smoking. And some of the boyfriends are smiling and looking straight into the center of the bathing suit. Like I do when I look at things when I want to make them move. And I watch the kids in the swimming pool. But they're splashing and breaking up the turquoise. They're breaking up all the beautiful turquoise. I need to fix the turquoise. I need to smooth out the turquoise. I need to smooth out all the broken little waves. I need to fix the waves. I inch my way over to the edge of the pool. When I look in, I notice there's a ledge, a little ledge about a half step lower than the pool deck. And the water laps up against the pool deck, and the ledge runs all the way around the inside of the swimming pool. It's immersed in turquoise, and it's not very deep. It's not deep at all. It's very close to me. And it's very narrow, but wide enough for someone to lie down on if they lie down sideways, which I do. I ease myself down onto the ledge and I lie down sideways. I prop my head up in my hand and I stretch my little girl arm along my little girl hip, and I pretend I'm one of those pretty bathing suit ladies giggling at their boyfriends in my sister's too big hand-me-down swimsuit. The water is all warm and it laps up against me. Swimming pool water is nothing like fish tank water. Fish tank water is black and cold and slimy, and it smells like carp and blood. But swimming pool water is warm and soft and turquoisey, and it smells like Nivea suntan lotion. And it sounds like music. I need to fix the broken waves. I lift my arm from my head, and I reach down and stroke the water directly in front of me. I smooth out the turquoise. I smooth out the turquoise. But there are more little broken little waves to my right. I need to smooth out the turquoise there, so I fix those waves. I smooth out the turquoise. There are more broken little waves over to my left, so I smooth out the turquoise over to my left. I fix all the broken little waves, and I smooth out all the turquoise in front of me. But there are more broken little wavy little waves a little farther out. They need to be smoothed out. They need to be fixed and soothed. So I reach out my arm and I smooth out the broken little wavy little waves further ahead. I smooth out the waves. I fix the waves. I fix the broken turquoise. But there are more broken little wavy little waves, and they need to be fixed. I need to fix the broken little waves. I stretch my arm out as far as I can. I stretch my arm out far as I can to fix the broken little wavy little waves, and I smooth out all the turquoise. I talk to the little waves and I calm them. I smooth the broken little waves. I smooth out the turquoise. I reach as far as I can go. I tell them everything. I tell them everything. I tell them everything, and I reach as far as my arm can reach, and I fall in. I fall in. Quiet. Quiet. Slow. Quiet. Suddenly, all I see are legs and feet receding, and feet and arms and hands receding, and arms and hands and feet receding, and hands waving, fingers wiggling, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And it's so quiet. It's not unpleasant at all. It's quiet. It's quiet just like me. And all of the color all around me and coming into me as I disappear perfectly. I disappear perfectly into turquoise. Drowning is fun once you get used to it. How do the fishes do it? They stay alive the whole time. I like the feeling of falling through space, but never landing. And I like the way the people go sideways, then disappear. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Drowning is fun. It's very quiet. All of the blue all around you. You really should try it one of these days. I like the feeling of falling through space, but never landing. And I like the way the people go sideways, then disappear. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Drowning is fun. It's very relaxing, especially if you like water, and I really do. There are no distractions, no interference, and nothing to buy. No advertisements along the way. I like the feeling of falling through space, but never landing. And I like the way the people go sideways, then disappear. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Drowning is such a nice way of coping. The damage is done, No sense in moping, just disappear. It's so underrated, they pay more attention. Now you're belated, perfectly still and unblinking. They stare down at me, down I come sinking, perfectly still and unblinking. They stare down at me, down I come sinking, making no sound. Drowning is fun, once you get used to it. All of the blue inside of you, piano is playing, making no sound. How is it that I am standing on solid ground? What happened? What happened to the quiet? I hear noises, feet scurrying and voices worrying and someone's crying. What happened to my perfect peace and my beautiful turquoise friend? Who's crying? She's crying and holding me tight and stroking my back. She's crying. My sister? The sister I'm always afraid of is holding me tight, crying. She pulled me out of the water. She did it. Why does she always ruin everything? Thank you for listening.